Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we are looking at Arcane Cataclysm, the new battle box for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So first of all, I want to say a massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us a free early review copy to have a look at ahead of time. Yeah, this is really cool. A box containing Lumineth versus Tzeentch. So pretty cool. You get a new model for each side as well, along with a load of kits, you know, good core to start in one of these armies, along with the usual kind of bits that you get in there, such as a mini supplement, mini rule book, and cards for all the units in the box, which is pretty fun. Like I say, the two exclusive figures in there, the Cenarian Lightener and the Curseling Eye of Tzeentch. New models for both of them, but the Curseling obviously had an old, I think, resin one, and before that metal back in the day, and the Enlightener's a new unit for the Lumineth. So presumably both these armies are going to be getting a battle tome at some point in the near future. And what we see in these battle boxes is that we get a few glimpses of some of the rules that might be coming. That's not to say that the Warscrolls in here will be exactly what we get in the battle tomes when they come out, but it's a good point to the changes that we might get. So in the video what we'll do, we'll have a look at all the kits in there. In particular the two new frames for the new characters. We'll have a look through the supplement book and all the kind of the lore and the rules in there, and then at the end of the video we'll have a look at the painted and assembled models as well to show you what they look like when they're done. So without further ado, let's crack this open. So as you expect, the box is filled with plastic frames. We'll move the new characters just one side for now and have a look at some of the existing stuff. So just move this out of the way. Inside we get a set of Zangor, so we get 10 of these. I think they're 5 to the sprue, and you get 2 identical frames. Load of weapon options there for multiple different weapons and shields and the like, so we get 10 of them, which is cool. We also get 2 sprues of Kyric Acolytes, so this will build 20 models in total, and again these are another battle line choice for your Tzeentch force. So yeah, I'm interested to see what the changes are for both these and the Zangor. I've got a lot of demons. It'd be nice to see what mortals can do these days. And we have 3 discs as well. So I think in the box the build is enlightened, but obviously it's the full kit. So if you want to build Skyfires with it, you can as well. So obviously that's an older kit we won't look at too much. What is new, however, is the new plastic Curseling. So that is a really, really cool looking kit. Like I say, at the end of the video I'll have this built and painted up so you can see what it looks like in the flesh, but I'm really looking forward to putting that one together. So that's the Tzeentch side of the box. I've also got a load of Lumineth in here as well. So first of all, straight away we get a stack of Sentinels. So you get, again, enough to build 10 here across a couple of frames. Again, we won't look at these too much because we know what these guys look like. So we'll pop those to one side. We also get Dawn Riders, the cavalry. Again, these are an existing kit, so we'll just have a quick flick through these. But yeah, still really nice kits. Now I know a lot of people probably have a lot of Dawn Riders and Sentinels already, but you know, you can never have too many. Nice to pad out your force. And then you also get a set of the Blade Guard as well. And again, there's 5 in this frame, I believe. And again, they're a really nice kit with the old kind of High Elf Swordmaster aesthetic that they've got going on. So that's the existing kits for both of the factions. We've also got the new character model as well. And again, that's a really, really nice model. So lots of the balancing on scenery that we've seen from the Lumineth Realm Lords. And again, what we'll do is we'll have a proper look at this, all built and painted up towards the end of the video. But that's not everything in the box. Inside we've got some more goodies. So we get bases for all the models. We'll pop those to one side for now. More bases. And for the cavalry. We have a mini core rulebook. So this is the same rulebook that, the same as the stuff in the big hardback core rulebook, but it's a nice little paperback one that you can throw in your event bag, so that's pretty cool. We get Warscroll cards for all the units. These are in the main supplement book as well, so we'll have a look at those properly when we get into it, but basically, you know the drill by now. Warscroll card with all the details of the units on, so we'll have a proper look at the units when we get to that in the main book. There's also a sheet of tokens and templates, which is handy. The Arcane Cataclysm book we'll have a look at shortly. Before we jump on that, we'll just have a quick look at the instructions as well, just see if there's anything funky in here. So like with all the Games Workshop instructions, they're really clear and easy to follow now. You get a little size chart for all the bases, so you know which base you need to use. Any multiple options are also listed out in here. Now for the new characters, really, the Enlightener just goes together one way, and it doesn't look like it's many pieces. You've got a choice of head, that's about it. Looks dead easy to put together, so that should be fun. We then get the full instructions for everything. I think the only thing that you don't get in this manual is the instructions if you want to build the discs as Skyfires. But if you email Games Workshop, they'll provide you with those instructions, no problem. Just tell them that you want to build them as Skyfires and the instructions aren't in here, and they'll normally send you over the full PDF from the individual kits. GW are pretty good with that. So on to the Tzeentch side, we get the Curseling again. A little bit trickier to put together than the Lumineth one, but not too many pieces. And like I say, you get the instructions for building the Enlightened on discs. If you do want to build the other variants, you'll need to get the instructions from them. But most people this box is aimed at, I guess, will build it as per the contents. And then Kyric Acolytes and the Zangor Host, so nothing too different there that we haven't seen. So what we'll do is have a look at the Arcane Cataclysm book and see what's inside that. So moving on to the Arcane Cataclysm booklet itself, this essentially gives us the rules for all the models in the box, plus some narrative as well. So it's really nice. If you've ever picked up one of these battle boxes, these books are actually really nice for kind of getting into the Force. If you've not collected the the army before and you haven't maybe bought the battle tome yet, which is a situation a lot of people who pick up these boxes will be in. This might be their kind of in to Age of Sigmar. They're really nice in that they contain quite a lot of information. So you've got kind of a bit of background about Haish, you've got background about each faction within the box as well, so you learn about Tzeentch, you learn about the Lumineth, you learn about the various units as well. You get a bit of a kind of like a mini battle tome style thing where it will go through each unit in the box and give you a bit of information around them, along with kind of like an overarching narrative that kind of ties the forces together and explains why they're fighting each other in this supplement. So I really like to see that kind of stuff. Obviously you also get the full miniature showcase in here as well, so it'll go through all the various units in the box with the kind of heavy metal artwork for them, so you can try and copy them for painting the models in the box and give you an idea of what a Lumineth army looks like. And again for the forces of Tzeentch too, that Curseling is such a nice model. I thoroughly enjoyed painting him up. It's it's been a fun one to do. So yeah, we get through the artwork, and then the last half of the book is really kind of new rules related stuff. So basically these battle boxes will take the forces in the box and allow you to play through a series of different scenarios telling a story, and that's essentially what these kind of booklets do. It's really nice, kind of a mini kind of narrative supplement in a box, which is cool. And obviously you can use those models in your normal games, but it's nice to be able to take just the contents of that and play some games with them, which is really good if somebody's maybe new to Age of Sigmar as well. Now what I will say though, the rules in here are kind of like get you by rules just for this box. They don't include all the kind of the big faction abilities they're found in the battle tomes, and the way that the Age of Sigmar releases have worked this year so far is that we tend to get a big battle box with a couple new models in for 2 forces, and then the battle tomes for those units will follow a short time after. So it's a nice way of doing it, and it's similar to the way they've been doing Kill Team and Warcry as well. Big box with a load of models and then rules following them. So I don't think that the Lumineth and Tzeentch books are going to be too far away on the horizon. Hopefully within the next month or so. It has been a jam-packed release schedule, so you never know. But they did say, I think they said they wanted like 4 battle tomes out in the summer, which is an awful lot of books. So yeah, we'll see what's on the way for them. But yeah, looking into the rules in here, we get some realm rules for Arcane Trove, which is where this kind of setting takes place. In the second battle round, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by units on the battlefield. In the third battle round, subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for attacks made by units on the battlefield. In the fourth and fifth battle round, subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for attacks made on the battlefield, and subtract 1 from save rolls for units on the battlefield. Again, this is really just to frame the narrative in here. You could use them in your own games if you wanted, if you had a bit of a narrative campaign and wanted to spice things up with some rules that affect things. And then Echoes of the Spirefall. If the unmodified casting roll for a friendly wizard is 9 or more, you must choose to either re-roll or have the caster suffer 1 mortal wound after the effects of the spell have been resolved. So gives you a bit of an interesting decision to make on whether your spells go off. And then United in Purpose. At the start of your charge phase, if 2 friendly units are within 6 inches of each other, you can make 1 charge roll to determine the charge distance for both units in that phase. So that's pretty cool. We then get some unique command abilities. So Secrets of the Past, you can use this command ability at the start of your hero phase. That unit receives a command must be a wizard. Until the next hero phase, if the unit successfully casts a spell and the spell is not unbound, after the effects of the spell have been resolved, you can attempt to cast 1 additional spell. Now obviously you've got a risk for doing that, tied in with that. And then Arcane Volatility. You can use this command ability at the start of your hero phase. The unit that receives that command must be a wizard. Until your next hero phase, double the result of casting rolls for the wizard. So again, pretty cool. And then we've got the Echoes of War battle plan. So this is essentially a kind of plug-in for the core rules that that lets you kind of, have some slightly different rules here compared to a normal game. So that unlocks some new spells. You get a full spell lore of 4 spells, which is interesting as well. Lighter Battle. It's got a casting value of 6 and a range of 18 inches. If successfully cast, pick a point on the battlefield within range and visible to the caster, and roll a dice for each unit within 3 inches of that point. On a 4+, halve the move characteristic. Nice. Exercising Beam has a casting value of 8 and a range of 18. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within range and visible. They suffer D3 mortal wounds. And Vengeful Illumination has a casting value of 7 and a range of 18. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit within range and visible to the caster. Add 1 to hit rolls made with missile weapons that target that unit until your next hero phase. And then Healing Glow goes off on a 9, has a range of 12 inches. If successfully cast, pick 1 friendly unit within range and visible. Heal up to D3 wounds allocated to that unit, or if no wounds are allocated, return a number of models equal to the roll. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We then get a couple of scenarios as well. These are based around the models in the book. So for example, the first battle plan, the Tzeentch side has got the Curseling, a unit of Caracastlites and a unit of Zangors, while the Lumineth has the Enlightener, a Blade Lord's unit of 5 models and a unit of Sentinels of 10 models. So yeah, they essentially over the course of the missions, you'll go up to using the full contents of the box. So again, for new starters, that's quite nice. It lets you slowly build up your army over the course of a few games, and then yeah, be able to kind of get more comfortable with your forces in the box. And you've got a fun little story of them as well. Each mission kind of starts with a page of narrative just explaining what's going on as well. So again, I think that's quite a nice touch. I do like these battle boxes. Most people buy these battle boxes for a discount on the minis, and you do get a discount on the minis, but I don't think enough love's maybe given to the written material inside, because they are really, really fun. So in addition to that, you also get the full profiles of all the models in the box as well. You do also get these included as Warscroll cards. We saw them a little bit earlier, but what I'll do is look at some of these, because some of the rules for the existing models have changed somewhat, and obviously we have got some new units in there as well. So first of all, we've got the Scenari Enlightener, move 6, wounds 5, 5+ save, 7 bravery. It's got a ranged weapon with its staff,
which is pretty good. 18 inches, D6 shots, hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, -1 rend, no damage. And then the blade, it's an average kind of wizardy blade. It can cast 2 spells. Once per battle in the hero phase, when the unit attempts to cast its first spell, it's automatically cast with a casting roll of 9. So that's pretty cool. It can be unbound, so obviously they'd need to roll a 10. It's pretty cool, I like that. Obviously some of the other Lumineth stuff's got similar abilities. The Rune of Entai. Once per turn, if this unit successfully casts a spell from the Lore of Heesh and the spell is not unbound, you can roll a dice after the effect. On a 3+, you can immediately resolve the effect of that spell for a second time. That is really cool. So being able to do spells on 2 different units, for example, on a 3+ is pretty good. And then Twin Tether, unique spell that she's got. It's got a range of 12, goes off on a 6. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within range and visible to the caster. Until your next hero phase, each time a wound or mortal wound is allocated to the caster, your opponent must allocate a wound to that enemy unit. So it's a bit situational, that one, maybe, because people would just avoid trying to put mortal wounds on your caster. Really, the Enlightener's really good for being able to double up on the spell that you cast. Really, really handy. As for the other Lumineth units, we see a couple of changes. So, Shining Company has switched around a little bit, where now, if all the models in the unit are in base contact with 2 other models, it's just -1 to hit. I think it was when they got charged. Now it's just a basic rule, so you could potentially forgo piling in order to be -1 to hit. Or if your enemy is attacking you first, keep that tightly knit formation, and then pile in such a way that you're still touching 2 other models. Yeah, there's going to be some shenanigans with elves, and they're going to be quite hard to hit with that new ability all the time. So even if you charge, you can get that off if you've got some clever positioning of your unit. So just use movement trays and keep them all in base contact. It'd be pretty easy to do that. So that has changed on all of the Lumineth units. The Dawn Riders, off the top of my head, I don't think have changed other than the Shining Company rule. The Sentinels have changed, however. So previously you had the short range shot that did mortal wounds and the long range shot that didn't need line of sight. That has switched around now. You've got your 18-inch shot that causes mortal wounds, and then a 24-inch shot that ignores the effects of cover. So you still need to have line of sight in order to do that. That's a pretty big change, really, and I think it's a good change as well. I don't think it was a necessarily fun mechanic for the Sentinels to be able to shoot units that they couldn't see, because really they could take out decent characters and stuff turn 1. So that's gone now, which is a good change. I do like that change. For the Tzeentch side, we've got the Curseling. He now has a range attack as well. Really good range attack, actually, as well. 18 inches, 3 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, -1 rend, 1 damage. He's gone up to 6 wounds. I believe he used to have 5. And then a lot of his other abilities have changed somewhat as well. He can still reroll Unbind and Dispel, but the Glean magic has changed quite a bit. Previously, he could like steal a spell and cast it himself. Now, basically, he steals one of your opponent's casts. So you pick an enemy wizard within 18 inches and roll the dice. On a 4+, they can cast 1 less spell this turn, and you can cast 1 more. So basically, it gives you an extra spell attempt, but it doesn't give you that physical spell. So, bit of a distinction there. Barrier of Fate as well. Gives a target Arcanite unit a ward save of 6+. Now, a lot of the shields in here do give you a 6+ ward save. It does mean that if you forgo that shield for more attacks by having multiple close combat weapons, you've still got a way of putting ward saves on units. So I quite like him. Zangor Enlightened are another one that have changed quite a bit as well. The beaks now wound on 3s, where I think they used to wound on 5s, and that is improved on all the Zangor stuff in the book. Babbling Stream of Secrets is now very, very good. Units within 3 inches cannot receive command abilities, so you can use these guys to go in and negate all-out defense and stuff like that. The quick 16 inches move, charge them in, negate those command effects, and use them more of a support unit. Guided by the Past's also changed quite a bit as well. They're +1 to wound if you are the army that goes second in that phase. So interesting one, means they're wounding on 2s, which is really good. But again, you're going to have to be clever with your turn sequence. I suspect the Skyfires will have a rule that does similar, but in the kind of shooting phase if you go first, maybe. So yeah, I quite like them. The shutting down command abilities is really, really good. If you go in second, they wound on 2s as a bonus, basically. Karak Acolytes have had some pretty big changes. They've got a 6+ save. I think they used to have a 5+ save. The shields still give you a 6+ ward save. It's now phrased as a ward save, where before it was kind of pre-ward saves existing. Second blade now gives you an additional attack, which is cool. The vultures changed a little bit now. If an enemy unit casts a spell within 18 inches on a 4+, the wizard suffers a mortal wound after the effects of the spell have been resolved. I think that was slightly different previously. And the key one, they are no longer wizards. They do not have the wizard keyword anymore. So yeah, that's an interesting change. Then we get the Zangor host, which is the new word for the Zangor unit. Again, couple of changes here as well. Similar to the Enlightened, the beaks now wound a lot harder, and in fact a lot of the to wound values are a lot better for the Zangor. They used to have a rule where if they had more than 9 models they get extra attacks. That no longer exists. However, they can get an extra attack if they've got 2 close combat weapons now, again forsaking the shield that gives them a ward save. So that's pretty cool. The totems have changed a little bit as well. So you've got to be near an enemy unit now to use it. So basically you pick an enemy unit within 3 inches, roll a dice for each enemy wizard within 12 inches, and each 4+ the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So basically you're siphoning the energy of kind of wizards within 12 inches to do damage to the unit. I think before it was units within 9 inches that you picked, so the wording of that has changed quite a bit. It does mean that if you're fighting something like Lumineth and go in with a load of unit as Zangor, yeah, you can potentially do quite a bit of damage to them in mortal wounds. So again, nice and thematic for the purposes of this box. I quite like that. So again, yeah, so quite a few changes there. I'm interested in seeing the Tzeentch book to see what else has kind of moved around a little bit. Lumineth, there's relatively fewer changes than the Tzeentch stuff in here. Points wise, things have moved around a bit as well. So we've got Sentinels 165 and Battle Line, the Enlighteners 165, Blade Lords 145, Venari Dawn Riders 160, Karak Acolytes 120, I think are the same. Zangor Host are 200, which I think is a bit of a point increase for them. The Curseling is 175, and the Enlightened have gone up quite a bit to 215, but that ability to shut down command abilities is very strong. So yeah, you get a nice assortment of models in the box. So speaking of which, let's look at 2 of the painted models now. And finally, here's a look at the 2 new models from the box painted up, the Cenari Enlightener and the Curseling. Yeah, both really, really gorgeous models and a joy to paint up. I covered the Tzeentch side while Jay painted the Lumineth, and yeah, they are really gorgeous models. The Enlightener in particular is really nice. Like we saw in the unboxing element of the video, you've got the option for a helmeted or helmetless head. So if you do have a couple of them in your army, then you know, obviously you can sculpt them differently. While the Curseling, on the other hand, is such a weird. Let me just move that out of the way. Such a weird looking model. He's really, really cool. So he's kind of got his brother on his shoulder, and just spin it around with the kind of like feather cloak thing that he's got is actually part of the Curseling. So yeah, really, really nice model. Pretty much did a stock kind of Thousand Suns kind of scheme on him, because, you know, that works, doesn't it? But yeah, really, really fun. I'm excited to paint up the rest of the box as well. I've got a large demon-based Tzeentch army, but I think the contents of the box would make for you know, a good expansion to somebody who's got an existing demon army and wants to add some mortal elements, or a brand new mortal army. Off the top of my head, I think you get about 700 points worth of stuff for Tzeentch in the box, so yeah, certainly a good start of an army. But yeah, that was a look at the Arcane Cataclysm box from Games Workshop. As ever, massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us a copy early to review, have a look at and get some models painted up for it. I will be working on the Tzeentch from this box as well, so if you keep an eye on our Twitter, at Sprues and Brews, I'll be painting those up and popping them on there. In addition to this video, I've also got a full kind of written review of the box on there as well. Got images of all the sprues, all of the profiles will be on there. We have a look into, you know, all the bits and bobs in here and what you can do to put together a small force using the box as well. So if you are interested, check that out. That's over on spruesandbrews.com. Also today we have got unboxing videos of the Centaurian Marshal and the Chaos Legionnaires for Warcry as well. So they're really cool models and they can be used in games of Age of Sigmar as well. So be sure to check that out. If you haven't liked this video, why not give us a follow? We do lots of unboxings and battle reports and painting videos and that kind of stuff. In particular, the painting and bat reps should be coming soon in October, hopefully, so not long to wait for those. But yeah, it's a really fun box. I'm excited to get the Tzeentch out. Hopefully the battle tomes aren't too far behind these releases as well. I think that'll be quite exciting. But yeah, until next time, I hope you have a great weekend and we'll see you soon.